Okay.
I was the first to go. I'm not sure why, but I was the first to go in that meeting.
Yes, you were. So it's a Tech Growth Data Science staff meeting. Tiago, thanks for getting the live stream going. Just send me the link afterwards and I'll edit it and put in the meeting notes, etc. And also I want to welcome Sladen today, who's my director shadow and is a student at USC. Thanks.
Hey, everyone.
Cool. And small thing, hey, Alan, I noticed on your video, it still says interim on your title in Zoom. You might want to change that.
I'm still interim. That's why.
Oh, you're still interim. Okay.
Yeah.
The system works.
So it looks like Neil, you have the first items.
Yeah, so regarding new hires and anniversaries, I've been hiring for 2 senior front-end roles, one for Threat Insights, one for security policies. We filled the security policies. It's Ian James. I've linked off to his LinkedIn profile. He's located outside of Melbourne, Australia, starting on January 23rd. And he's going to be reporting to Alan, because obviously Alan has taken over that team as of late. So that's amazing. I've already apologized for hiring somebody under his, behind the scenes, but he also appreciates the work involved. We also have the Threat Insights position. We are on the final steps. I'm hoping to be able to share news later this week about that, and that'll have a similar start date anticipated. Cool. Tiago, you're up next.
On the same vein, we've got 2 new starters. We've got Mo, who a lot of you will know, and he tends to watch these videos. So hi, Mo. And Malcolm, who's in New Zealand, and very excited to get these 2 people in. And for the Americans, it's pronounced Melbourne, not Melbourne.
I couldn't even tell you what I said, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Cool. Lots of great news in new starts. One of our big goals, expand the team. In celebrations, I've got a couple of them here. So the AI Assist proof of concept demo was put out there in public. So great work by the incubation engineering team and the AI assisted team. So Mon's team. So congratulations, Mon, to you and your team, and to Fred on incubation engineering. Yay! It's neat. Got the link there.
It is open for internal dog fooding, so would love feedback. So anyone using the GitLab VS Code extension can basically use it.
Cool. Yep. And you can see how to use it by watching the short video. So also, I know I'm a little bit late to celebrate 15.6. It was released while I was out of the office, but it was still really neat to see all the great work by secure data science and governed teams. The features included Git abuse rate limiting to notify administrators when a user downloads more than X repositories in Y time period, on-demand API security scans, scheduled dependency scans, and the ability to manage scan results at both the group and subgroup levels, noting that automatic revocation of leaked personal access tokens, PATs, is coming soon. We're internally dogfooding it. So all sorts of fun stuff great stuff out there. And it was fun to brag about them on social media too. So thanks, everyone.
I got the next item, but just piggybacking on Wayne, one of the features that came out was the ability to verify commit signatures using SSH keys. Brian in Threat Insights contributed to that feature in code source, and he got a discretionary bonus for that. That was really good. And this happened a while ago. I didn't announce it, but we have 2 new maintainers in section. Mehmet is a backend maintainer now for GitLab, and Michal is a maintainer for database.
That's great. I'm just going to signal boost. We had a maintainership working group, and Michelle's leading that, and we are still looking for more maintainers. I think at last count, they're looking for about 4 backend maintainers, a trainee database maintainer, if anyone's interested. And of course, we're looking for maintainers for other projects and across the front end as well. I said I would track that for Wayne in Q4. So if anyone in your teams is interested or you feel should become a maintainer, reach out to me, let me know. I'll happily work with you to see if we can make that happen.
Good stuff. So in news and events, so I also noted a number of mention of secure governance and data science work in this week's earnings call. So that was interesting. There's an unofficial transcript of that here. So you can search for what you're working on and you may see Sid or Brian mentioning it. It's kind of neat, either in prepared comments and or when answers to questions from analysts. Somebody want to verbalize Taylor's comment?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Taylor is announcing that they've made some changes to the model ops stage, renaming Applied ML Group to now be AI Assisted, and they've also added a new category to AI Assisted called Code Suggestions, which is the maturation of the AI Assist POC SEG into a product category. Wow, that's a mouthful. You'll have to ask Mon what all that's about if you have any questions.
What's all that about, Mon?
A lot of name changes, but I hope this is the final one. So what I understand is Applied ML did not make much sense. And so as a group, the name as AI Assisted makes a lot more sense. And so, and Code Suggestions actually says what it's supposed to do. So then it's a lot more easy, but yep.
So in big rocks and hot issues, I wanted to repeat this. It was, I think Sam Beckham put this in a couple of different Slack channels. Part of the reason for doing this is because people wanted more context. I know, Neil, for example, you mentioned that the teams working on pajamas migrations are getting a little burned out because they've been doing it for a while and they kind of lost sight of the why we were doing it. So it wasn't just you and people on my teams, it was others as well. So Sam put together this great video and recorded presentation about the why on the pajamas migrations. He's available for questions, suggesting people watch the video, and et cetera. So overall, good stuff there. And thanks for bringing that up, Neil, in the past. That's great feedback. That's not the only reason that Sam did this, but it's one of the reasons.
Well, I appreciate that, Wayne. Yeah, it's really cool. And I've passed this along to the team. Notably, it doesn't include things that are in the enterprise code base. Just it's an alphabetical thing. There's in the Epic, you can learn more about that. But our team, specifically Alexander Turinsky, has helped actually reconcile and get that list of EE locations. So our team and Alexander are going to be looking at ways to approach that and help facilitate this OKR. So you can find that within my OKR list if you need the issue. But yeah, thank you.
I've put a list of, I'm tracking the engineers across Antiview, Scrubbin and Growth. I've added a list in here. These are the issues that are assigned to our engineers, and as we close them off, we'll complete that. If anyone needs any help with that or wants me to track additional teams, I'm more than happy to do that across Q4 as well. Just reach out. So I think I have the next item. So Christopher has an issue. He's going to mention our engineering managers. It's a sort of a continuation of the best in class conversations, but this time he's wanting engineering managers to lead the conversation and actually reach out to their PMs and ask, what is it that we should be getting ready to do? If not already working on in Q4, what should we be getting ready to work on in Q1? We're just approaching this from multiple angles. A lot of the times our PMs will already be doing this. Our engineering managers and product managers are already having these conversations. Christopher's just asking our EMs to actually lead that conversation so we can be clear across development on what we need to be ready to work on in Q1. There's a few links I've shared there and the doc. Nate, you had a question or a comment?
Yeah, just around the doc, we from the compliance perspective, we felt that it didn't quite match up. So we'd already started that discussion with PM and compliance space to look at that best in class and work out what exactly that means for us in our group. But just for reference for everyone else.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think that's why Christopher's asking now, is just to make sure that we're all aligned on what we're looking at doing. Neil, you have an OKR to look at, what we can get ready for and do in Q1. So you're already working on this. Tiago, you have an issue to an OKR around unblocking BIC features. It's more if the conversation changes, are there other things we need to do to unblock any new features that we're talking about? So that's the sort of thing that Christopher's looking for here.
Go in the hallway. Anyone check out the OpenAI chatbot? It's equally amazing and scary. For example, I took a I didn't put it in the notes here. I respond to on the GitLab forum a couple different topics. One that Tiago reminded me of related to some questions about credit card controls that we use for preventing crypto mining. I thought I'm going to just take that person's question and put it in Chat AI and see how, if the answer it comes up with is accurate, and if so, is it better than what I wrote? It was better than what I wrote. And I've done a couple other things, and it came up with really great answers that were absolutely wrong, but really well put together, at least in my opinion, on other topics. But what about I don't know if anybody else has checked it out, but looks like Nate, you have thought about it at least.
Yeah, I found a Chrome plugin that actually, when you do a Google search, it adds the Chat GPT response on the right-hand side, so you can compare what Google and that comes up with. It's really quite amazing what it comes up with. I'm interested to see if I can match it up with AI Assist as well and get some easy coding. Anyway, but I did see that Stack Overflow have blocked it for now because of its, as you mentioned, Wayne, the well-written.
How did they block it? How did they? Because you can just copy and paste things in there. How did they block it? I'm curious.
I've linked to their post about it, but yeah.
I mean, our wrong answers in Stack Overflow, just your average contributor. It's mostly what people rage about. This is wrong. And there's a big flame war.
The best way to get somebody to answer a question on the internet is to post the wrong answer.
That's it. I think it's discriminating against AI. Just let them post it wrong. Somebody will come in and correct it.
Anybody else check that or have any impressions of it?
It was a little laggy today. I think they're getting a lot more hype. I was definitely trying to play with it to see kind of what the boundaries are on it. It's definitely sparked some interest, like using that and Copilot. I'm wondering how efficient engineering managers can be at jumping back into the code a little easier. So I'm curious to play with the combination of the two.
I saw some examples of answers from the handbook that were pretty good. And somebody also shared the text of somebody who taught it to interpret shell scripts. That one was quite impressive.
You know what's going to happen now is somebody's going to do a TikTok video with all of us being fired by ChatGPT instead of by Elon. We'll see.
You're the first one.
No,
right?
that's not an invitation to the person who created that video.
This time you'll be the first one because the answer was better, right?
Yeah, for me, we've been looking just at the back end, how the models have been built. So really just looking into that for code suggestion, and it is there are just a lot of them. There are finer details that are so important and so different, just the way they use reinforcement learning, which is really cool. Yeah.
Interesting. Bill, I moved a couple of your topics up to from read only to discussion, because I thought maybe it'd be good to discuss.
Cool. We've got the combined end of year catch-ups for SEC, data science and growth, starting tomorrow, or tomorrow night, Friday for APAC. There are 3 1-hour sessions in there. The issue link is there. They should all be on the calendar. These are open to anyone. So if there are people who are not directly on the calendar invites, please go ahead and add them. You should be able to edit those invites yourself. Neil asked a good question in that issue around expensing. I'll summarize that. In terms of what we expense, my understanding is that budget has been allocated at the sub-department level, and so we have a lot of discretion there. The TLDR is ask your manager before you expense something to make sure it's approved. But until one of the suggestions was to expense some food or a beverage. Neil's question was, well, does this have to be something that you bring to the meeting? I've answered that, and please correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Wayne. I think no, it doesn't, but it should be coupled with attending one of the meetings or one of these catch-ups, and maybe bring that to the conversation and tell us how you're expensing it. So some suggestions were expense a meal and bring it along. Not everyone wants to eat a meal in front of their colleagues while they're having a conversation. Another is actually go out for a meal and come back and talk about it, who you took out for the meal, what you talked about, and share that with the team. A third suggestion was buy the ingredients for a meal that you want to cook at home and come and tell us about the recipe that you chose, or what it is you're planning on cooking, and the conversation. Wayne, how did I do?
I do encourage you to encourage your teams to attend if they're interested. We can kind of get together as a group and just spend a little time together, not doing work-specific things. One of the interesting aspects of an all-remote company spread out all over the world is things like this are important, and you get out of them what you put into them.
The next item was also from me. This is something that Wayne and I discussed. He suggested sharing. There are some useful tips, and there's a video there on filtering in Gmail. Really good if you're interested in that sort of zero inbox email policy. You can filter everything away into a subdirectory, and you don't have to look at it. I try and use this right now. I haven't got a zero inbox, but the idea behind that is I'm filtering everything that I expect to come in. So anything that comes from GitLab goes into a particular directory. And what I end up seeing in my inbox is the emails that I wasn't expecting to get. And it sort of brings them to top of mind. There is a video there. It's a bit long. You kind of have to fast forward through it to get to the filtering. If anyone's interested, though, I'm happy to share any of some of the filters I use on GitLab to filter email out.
I would suggest making your teams know about this in case they're not using filters in Gmail. It can really help them if they're not.
Jay, do you know about this, Jay? I've seen Jay's email inbox. I've seen it.
I was going to say, is there a company-wide policy that we're zero inbox? I thought it was just a suggestion.
It's a suggestion.
It's a suggestion.
Labels and auto filtering or auto filing can be very useful. I think I mentioned this in one of my, I did mention this in one of my skip levels, and said what's better in many ways is unsubscribing from labels and projects where you don't want updates. So you don't have to create filters in the first place. So you're getting a bunch of stuff you're never going to read. Go deal with it at the source rather than in Gmail. But it's a tool.
I'm gonna side with Jay. I disabled my notifications. I only received to-dos and mentions. It was declared bankruptcy, and I did have some filters. Maybe it's time to look at it again. Maybe somebody had better filters than I did.
I was going to say one more comment. Phil, I don't know if you can share a screenshot of your filters as they are today. That'd be cool. Someone did that in the past, and it was like much easier than trying to read through this. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And even if I don't know if you can export them as well, that'd be pretty sweet. We could just all import and be done.
Do it. I couldn't do it in one screenshot. I'd need a much larger.
Oh no.
What I'll do is, and I'm not, I'll copy and paste a few, and I'll put them in our shared channel. I'll do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all we had in the agenda. I know we don't like to have meetings extend to the time allocated. But I do want to ask Sladen, as a shadow and listening in, any questions observations you have or questions you have for the group?
No questions for this one. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Sladen.